Shit. Trying to figure out I should have made post again. I didn't do it. I gotta start over. I started over again. That wasn't okay. I don't know how you put two of those together. This is what I call blue wig. This is the blue wig. Mm-hmm. That's that blue plate right there. This one here is like a moonlight chick right here. This style right here, something like that. Pretty quick. And all my dogs I have names for. Or at least my mannequin I have names for. This is the love. During the time I was real young, I would breathe, do relax. That's still it. I never really would cut my hair or nothing, but I know there are, I've had it done. I really have. I've had it done. You see, I still have a ways to go. I have had it done. To my own. They better buy me. Don't do that. Don't do that. I go to professional to get it done. I have started, and I started doing it myself later on. I said, that can't be too screamed out hard. Let me see if I can do this myself. Done it in a while. You get used to doing things like that. They just become sometimes something you just feel you just can't have a day unless you just go ball, I guess. I don't want to do that out of that. But I'm good now, I'm good. That was just a pass. I don't care for nobody to come to me with the scissors. I really don't. You bringing the scissors? What you bringing the scissors for? What you need that for? Mm-mm. You got to get from out of my face with that. Think about this. You need everything you have to have. Like, we had wardrobe, everything ready to come on in. I haven't seen them knocked at my door yet. I'm like, how you gonna do it if you're not at my damn door? You gotta at least make it to the door. They make it to the door. How is somebody gonna know you here to wardrobe? I just like them they're not as they've been pretty good with being there. Like they might individuals take them and do what it is. Um, the stars should never be treated like they are nobody as someone that's taken. I know the caring. It should never be like that. You always make sure your supplies is there. Like I ordered some myself. They might have came looking for me. My concern is that they go to the right person. They don't go to the door person and say, I've dealt with people in between. They pretty much took it as their own. Yeah, I'm starting to bleed now for some reason. Pressure. When you do go through that, you should stop immediately. Wash your hands. Sterilize it. Put a Band-Aid on. Put a Band-Aid on and you can resume back. Sometimes you just do that. It'll stick. Yes, I'm not using your needles. It's fine too. Get your own. My name is Monique, by the way. Always been. The last name was the one to change. My life story is a tale of me as it goes into my career of speaking and what was taught or what we learned out of it, and ownership. It also speaks of family, who is and who is not to be a part anymore. As children is family. That's one of my number one. They know that I dragged that for a minute. I really did. In marriage, it's not about divorces, really. To be you is unique. You should love yourself unconditionally, even if no one in this whole wide world cares. Not even the one you think loves you, or you know loves you. I don't know nobody that don't have a person that been on drugs. Is an alcoholic or anything like that. I don't know no one that has a family member. They don't know one of them that has. Anybody say they have not and they haven't. Maybe it was in them. Will be in due time for them to ever find out. I don't wish someone to, but if you know and you got family members and they got kids, I'm trying to twine this. Once I get this, if my hand can seem to gather it all, then I'm assuming the mill is closed today too, due to the holidays. If you didn't notice, some states celebrate some things, others don't. You ever noticed that? Have you ever noticed that? In many different areas, and it's just like the unnecessary ones. Some states may celebrate than other ones. Like Oktoberfest, they have in Alabama. South Carolina, they do that Black History Month thing. And what's the name of it? There's another one. I know this out here in Louisiana. They celebrate a lot of other holidays. This is the technique right here. I gotta go in and feel some of that looseness. See, this is what can't be done right here. I don't like, I'm gonna do it in 3 parts, go back, fill it in. I like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, I just feel, what's your idea of marriage? You know what tripped me out? A lot of people have learned and got very informative off of the things I put on Facebook over the years. And it seems almost like there were not enough comments that were placed on my site to show the whole world that they read it. So by all means, women doing this, I say to myself, I think Christina need to be the one to pay her a check. Because the truth is she's stealing from Paramount Pictures, but she's out here advertising someone that have nothing to do with it. As what she's doing is bullshit. I'm sitting there listening to the insult in between. As you can't set someone up to be insulted like that. Not like that. You can't even place yourself to even try to insult someone. You know what? I'm going to talk about sex. And I'm going to get into make love. Because make love is an emotion of the heart and the love you have for someone. It can cause a strong desire or a strong reaction while in doing, even if you're not the best, to keep trying. Or maybe it might just be in your own knowing that you feel you would like to continue on because of your own, what do you call it? Best woman in the whole world. I want to know who that is and who you consider that to be. Is it somebody you knew for a second? Could it be somebody else? Could it be? Before you get in the word wife and you look your wife in the face and you say, this is my wife. And she's an example. I want you to consider what is the conversation of what is a wife. And what do you expect? Because normally this is how it is. Before you marry someone, you're supposed to already have that in line. Okay? That's supposed to be something done before you do. You already know. You're already speaking of. So when you do, there could never be a regret. Someone spoke it for my husband wrongly, but that person don't know me, know him. And my kids have no reason to say nothing, but my kids would never say nothing against us being together. Not the blood ones. Definitely the ones I raised. For good reason. Now, in the territory of marriage, it comes with responsibility. Responsibility comes with, I hate when people lie and say I'm their daughter and I'm not. Responsibility comes with providing, shut up, Vernell. Providing, satisfying, getting along with each other. It does come with some other responsibility. When I say providing, housing and everything is included. Okay? And foremost, very important. I'm going to tell you what I don't like, and this is what makes me mad. Never before I got into this marriage is import to speaking of this marriage that I'm in. I have a bug around me. It is not my kids. The bug is the person that I myself was married to. And I'm going to be honest, there ain't one person in this apartment, even if we shared as we should be here alone, that could ever tell my kids, you're in the way, you have no reason to be here, and she moved on. That is not someone's place to tell my kids. Even if my babies were out there. However, I would never tell myself that because I'm desperate to be with him and fully pull him in towards you. Tell me, if he's one of my kids' father, but to be announced to other, how could I really even find peace in the doing that? What am I trying to gain out of it? My mental, for me to be mentally okay, that if they're not, that we can still move on as a family and be together somewhere or other. Since I've been, I moved from Alabama, I have not actually been in contact to see my kids. But prior to that, I've dealt with, they came to visit me, okay? They're not still dealing with that divorce. They've been let that go. I tell you, jealousy can really be a bad thing. But his opinion of me does matter. When he first asked me to marry him, he was very young. To say it didn't work is bullshit. It was going to, and it still did. We birthed kids, things came a lot, a whole split or somewhat tic-tac-toe, something like that, polka dot. Someone would love to take this story and make it their own, and it's just not for you to announce, because when I went through some struggles and strife, there was not so much because I was pregnant with his baby, that it meant that it was, you ever hear someone say, if it was me, it'd have been different. That's a little messed up, but that's just how some people view themselves. If it was me, it looked like she got punched, but didn't. This bitch coming out the club okay. Not one scar. Yeah. And that's what happens. Sometimes people give advice to really destroy your life in a blink of an eye before you know it. I do know what it takes to make a marriage work, but you know what? Sometimes it's not about that. Somebody leaning on my stomach, you're looking up, back up. Is about the truth of in a marriage, some people use the kids as an excuse. They use every possible thing they can to make an excuse of why they themselves should or should not. I don't see it. I done skipped in different sentences and different information, but I just want you to ask yourself that. What makes a marriage? We have all the equations, believe it or not. And we already met them. One thing we haven't met in communication is the between me and him. That did not meet that. That did not meet like it's supposed to be. It did not. It surely did not meet. You. I say that. I mean, if you're a blunt person, I don't know why they wouldn't. It's just win. Shit. I gotta get this right. That's the only way I can keep that head on. I'm ready to finish it. I said it wasn't gonna be nothing else, but it missing like a whole status in here. So you really decide. So all I need right here, probably to get just to stick on. You know, when we were younger, the word was, we're not ready for that. Those kids are too young. They got about 20 children. I don't think he got a choice right about now. It's young, more young. To a whole absence in between. Somebody said she was married. How you gonna? And that's supposed to be so the ex to the non is around. He constantly nagged the fuck out of my spirit. I don't want to hear it. You shouldn't have talked to his sister, and that's just it. He goes in to Christian family and make himself known. That should have never been. I don't know if I'm gonna ever get this right here. A head of brain I don't even want to deal with right now. It's right in there as he meets Krishna. No, it's stressful. I don't have to pick through none. I already know I made my decision. That's it. He said something about some jar. I said I was getting back. How the fuck I'm gonna do that? Go to court. I pay this. You gotta be on some serious drugs. This is no joke. When I went to court, I meant it. That's it. He need to stop playing. They robbed me. When I left my address, I had already left screen info nearly at that address that I didn't really use. So to say back, all them hoes that want my daughter, want my husband. I don't know what daughter came from. All them want my husband. They might well give it up. They might well hang that up. How they gonna see that my husband have somebody else's an affair that claim equal? If that was so and they cared before it was, meaning was absent. 37 years. I feel no pity. If you went out there claiming you gonna fight me, you might have should have took the time out to place yourself someplace else to do something that mattered than to go out there and try to scream me as minus. For every plus, they say that makes it a minus for the wife. Every time he's absent of me in any amount is a minus. If he goes out there and he meet a woman, or he meet that one, or he sleep with that one, if he at a hotel, it don't matter. It's a minus. Every time he gets sexually, and I'm speaking totally, involved with someone not looking for, that he spend any time with, over any amount that he might give himself and feeling up, is what? Anytime he goes out, dine, party, have fun, spin, shop, travel, be seen out there in any type of automobile. If it's one that is different than what I drive, that me and him have, it does compliments. Also, that man in that apartment is not my husband. Anytime it's money, as no woman, wife, not in relationship, want to ever hear somebody, yeah, my husband gave you money. I'm not that. It's what? Boom. They say, if you go to a regular job, they go to a regular job, and you do as they think, they overtook the whole damn film, then it means what? If he consider a child his, let's say for instance, we have plenty of babies. I am not, as you see, in any location with the kids. Then there are some equations that add up and make it worth the while of knowing, or at least pointing out. Sometimes friends can really help boost the keep my girl. Truth is, sometimes it can really be bad. Because you didn't have to place yourself to trusting. That's it right now, I'm going to do. So, but then, no. Sometimes they worry, even if they Orgy gyms, I don't know nothing about that ever really. It sometimes turn out to be bad when you do stuff like that. Double dating, um, meeting family members, uh, believing in God. Some things doesn't add up, some things don't. Doubtfulness, that's like Satan to me. When a woman or wife goes through that, haters are pointed out by bad, negative comments and things that should not be said. Like as I do this film, I discuss the difference between the children and the absent ones. Some is not DNA'd. But if you were participating as you would correctly, and what? Negativity kills it. If a child is that evil, that child will literally go to someone and say, nah, she wasn't, and I. Two things needed to be placed in us. They would ask, where was the mother and where were you at and who was the guardian? That's when it points at the guardian or the kidnapper or whatever as being the issue that did not do. If it brings you to that mental stress point that you can't seem to heal from. So, having children does bond a marriage. Treating love the way you talk to someone. Some things does. Like I said, when you have friendships, they can really... I didn't really ever turn to any friendship for that. I always considered myself aiming directly. That's right. A marriage is... Negativity can be bad if someone believes... If the spouse believes that one's opinion, takes it in as being what or even saying, yeah, verify. We did verify with the eyes, so and so and so. You know, sometimes they can really cause a bad. Evenness does that. Me and my husband, we've been back, but we already had contact of knowing that over the years of each other wealth. The issue is that it's time now for the daytime that I pull my kids together to being around each other as one, as they missed it out a whole lot, and I did being around them. Being around a baby, other than making sure they're fed and everything else and they're educated, is something that I missed it between some of the children. In between, they were some of them, I'm going to say mainly all of them were in contact with me financially. Now we're here and we're the younger ones, younger than Shawnique, Charmaine. Well, the move from Huntsville was a pull away because I choose to leave for a reason that it got like a big, bitter, bad. It got to a bad situation where you speak it, and it's almost like everyone who shouldn't have was involved in it. So I left and went back where we used to stay at when I was younger. What I hate is a lie for someone to tell me their child is mine, their child is my husband is not, they are the mothers to my kids and not, and some more. It had nothing to do with sickness, cancer, or none. So I leave and I go to Florida. That divorce between me and somebody I should have had no bearing on anything against the good, for I did not treat that person wrong when I was with that person. But to say you're overly jealous or you're upset is BS. That was never supposed to happen because I was already married. The calling of the deaf that happened in the 90s was just a put together scheme to keep me and him apart. Illegal if collected. But my son continued on, and he's now 30-something years old, as both of them is. So I don't want any one of them in contact with any one of them for the reason of what I said. And I mean it. As I myself feel that he should have never, I had to go through that. He should have never had to go through the absence of his father. There's plenty of people in this whole world that would love to take a kid and take advantage of a rich kid. I feel for what the situation is. So I bond with him. And the person that should have took it in like food and groceries instead of being bitter, then holding everyone in it to try and show they're angry that they have their own situations is the one is. The difference is one of the kids that might be a kid of mine, I had already placed it in TV and did them good. They came to an environment that they felt they shouldn't have, but they never fought to receive out, but to not even speak thank you. Not only that, and that's without a DNA, and I'm going to deny it for a few, because maybe it helped them in for a second. So they wanted the kids that are of to say to themselves, I'm angry with mama. I'm angry with mama. I don't want to say nothing. Never that they really point their hand at the dad as to why the mama's not there, but the dad asked this and that. It was the mama. And to say grandmama filtered in has to be bullshit, because there is no way she would have known that if I never got around to telling her, but she was present. So you say if the grandmama's present but the mother's absent, the daddy must have been angry and didn't want you around the kids. It's hard to tell a mother you do not want a mother around a kid that is not a drug addict, an alcoholic, is not confusion and trouble, knows how to take care of kids, children, and at the same time is willing to go out there and work beyond. My situation is a little different. My beyond has already paid me off. It has been. So what becomes the crime against the child is the damn fraud, it's the lies, the over-exaggeration, but the collection of anything behind my back from any situation that the dad could not and should not give a dime out. The wrong between it, that is the crime for the kids, is that if the child itself is around someone that I didn't give permission to, it's already considered an issue. For him to already have the kid around, kidnap, or even came in agreement that this clarifies them in relationship-wise behind my back that we're married and that B is an issue. If he gives money to that person, but he provide that he did not provide even for one child, even out of knowing that we were married, that he got an access but did not give me any funding to take this child out of an environment that I did apply for food stamp. Not meaning I didn't have the money, it was fraudulent, but the person that he's around made it happen, and she should because he didn't, is bull. If there were others that spoke against me that did not provide, they need not to open their mouth. If those that said they knew me but expected me to call them in cousin's way, friend's way, from school or anything such as incorrect. If an adult speak against me but did not tell my mother for any reason why, that they knew that they helped in a setup or they did do something like that, it's a crime. Normally you birth a baby, you have that baby in the hospital. I've had. You know, you have your child in the hospital. It's not unknown. When you bring that baby home, everybody knows. Some of my babies weren't born there. I can't do phases, but I can't do, ooh, your turn, my turn. Now, I was home with my daughter, but for my husband to go behind my back and say, nah, I'm going to let my child go to the other address that I got somebody watching him. And he's in any sexual relationship that I did not give permission, man or woman, then it can be a serious problem. I never intended that, but to bring a child here is not deficient of what is the finances. What become an issue, what becomes wrong, is if he prevents me from going there and he don't ever plan on taking me. Because I'm hearing a lot of things now. Then that means somewhere in it is some looking for that to always be a break in between. I am not Walter Simmons' baby mama as he is the ape or the monkey, instead of calling someone else that. But to call me ugly is a no. They need that stocking back. For what you see in your eyes is your sin. And it should not be covered up. Some people just use you as a bed net. And it's shame when women do that, but they claim they family members to you. And the truth is, you don't find yourself no better. They say, well, this is okay. No, it's not. It's not. So some feel if they gave my mother it just makes it all okay. Because the point is, somebody could say, 30-something years, what have they done? And how was it in communication? You cannot say, even if the understanding, because it's going to get spiral. I already know it. I wrote it. But I also had to investigate it, recall it, and speak the truth. That it means good and better. I know what I've done between the 5 and I never got better. I was already. When your kid goes in foster home, you deal with the situation of there being a serious problem. Maybe you're unfit mom, maybe you just didn't, you deal with that. My situation for my kids that going in there is a lawsuit against the father. Because that should have never took place. But to say, she married John Henry, what man give a damn about you being with somebody if they know is what? They said to take the kids out of the home. He didn't take them out the home between those then. So how in the hell could he then bring up argument that it shouldn't be? But if I say this is my husband, what I'm going to do? Sue myself? Am I home with him? Did I set myself up by remarrying? It looked like I gave somebody a sunny chance. They said, prove. Yeah. I would never go to her and ask her to do a damn thing, but those are not her kids. I want to know what she got going on other than using tabloids when I went in to vouch that they knew they were considered a couple, that they were not. I tell you something about that first cousin that's not. When I was younger, I would go there and visit. If she called me, I was there. When I got there, I had chairs like everyone else had in that home. It's a small trailer, but I did. That was the so-called man's brother. Being a child, you don't forget your responsibility. You just seem to make in it that you find yourself being just survival. So when I went home to my mother, I didn't go there argue. I knew this day would come. This movie is the day it came. So when I wrote about it, as I could have gotten past all those hits, knocks that other females did me, not my mother, haters and people that just refuse to see that I make it home to what I paid for. She back home, she with her mother and father, that her father is now deceased, her grandmother and all, as she really believes. Her grandmama, her mother died. Her grandmama raised her. And she is first cousin to people that just, when you've lived in a situation where it looks like it's no pitch, but just that, and it's not okay, you start accepting what you know truthfully. It's breaking the seal and the lie. So this young girl, I would go there. I would go cook. I had children next door, to be honest. But for some reason, I could not pull over there to be there long enough. If it was an ex that I spent the night, I was there to argue with them. At that time, it was a bad situation. They probably nearly gave me up to die. But I made through. So what happens is,